Humphries got off to a slow start and got the better of Rob Croft 6-4, and then we've just seen, well, game of the night so far. Chris Dobey, 5-1 down, reels off 5 on the spin, averaging well over 110 during that spell to end with an average of 108.91 and 8 180s. And Laura, we missed 9 darts at a double.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? It was some kind of comeback there from Chris Dobey, especially when you consider their head-to-head record going into that match. It was so heavily weighted in favour of Gerwyn Price, and at 5-1 you just thought there was no way back. But you've got to say kudos there to Chris Dobey, because yeah, we've talked about his ability, we know what he's able to do, but it's great to see him doing it. Yeah,
listen, he's a classy operator. He's someone that I tipped up years ago, because just everything about his throw is lovely, the fundamentals of the action. Yeah, does he get a little bit tight sometimes at the winning line? Yes, but I suppose we can all be found guilty of that from time to time. But yeah, fabulous win, and it just sort of says to me that's where he maybe needs more work rather than in his actual game, maybe the psychological side of it.
Yeah, I think something that is going to come into play more and more often. We're hearing about players who do go off and they will have speak to a sports psychologist, because I've said it for years, darts is such a mental game, especially when you find yourself in situations you don't have a team to back you up. There's no coach, there's no manager that can come and help you or give you advice. And yeah, I'm with you. Every other sport uses it, doesn't it? I can't think of another sport that doesn't have it. And you think about individual sports. There's not too many. Even in the snooker, in between sessions, they can sit down with a sports psychologist or their coach or their friend or manager or family even. The only one I think darts, but in the Davis Cup they're allowed to have a coach there, aren't they, or a manager? But it's an interesting dynamic on our sport. It's a bit like coaching. It's almost frowned upon for the pros to take advice off of other people that may not have achieved as much as them. But think of some of the greatest footballing coaches in the world. Could hardly kick a ball. So look at some of the greatest boxing coaches in the world. It doesn't, just because you played the game at the highest level doesn't mean it automatically transfers that you'll be able to help another player with the psychological side of the sport, because it's all, like I say, it's in between the ears. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are people that can talk a good game, and like you say, just not able to kind of, you know what to do, but you're just not able to physically do it. But I've seen it more and more, and I think Nathan Aspinall is probably a good one to point to, because he's openly spoken about the struggles that he's had, and he's worked on himself on and off the oche, and the mental strength that he's shown over the last couple of weeks. I think maybe it's a testament to what he's saying. Well, it's something that the PDPA have sort of been massively involved in, and offer the players all of this help in all of those areas and departments. I know even though Kevin Painter had lost his tour card, they still got him the help he needed to get over the dartitis, and they set all that up for him. And I think it's some of those things that maybe the top players that don't necessarily know what the PDPA do could look at, really, because they offer so much. If the players don't take it, then whose fault's that? Yeah, I totally agree. I think sport in general it's evolved, but darts has probably been one of those sports that's just been a little bit slower to evolve. People think, you pick up a dart, you throw it, that's your natural throw, and most players have kind of stuck with that. But there are small tweaks, and we're seeing it from players. You can tinker with the equipment, and you can get your head sorted. So yeah, I think I'm with you. I think that is very much the future of our sport, and going forward we will see more of it, and we'll see more players openly discuss it. But fabulous night so far, and it's far from over. Our first semi-final, we're just seeing on our screens Glenn Durrant interviewing a very relieved and a very happy Nathan Aspinall, who we of course beat in the final of the Premier League the year he won it. Surprised you're still talking to him. And our second semi-final, mouth-watering, Luke Humphries against Chris Dobey. Where's your 50 pence, Laura? Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, I think Nathan Aspinall, to me so far, I think he's done the job that he got up this morning.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much he'll have left.
Absolutely, but also by way of Gerwyn Price going out, he now knows he's also secured third spot. So, not just qualified now, but qualified in third, avoids that clash with Luke Littler. Okay, we've still got to face Luke Humphries, but that was where he wanted to be.
Yeah, it could be an interesting dynamic. If Humphries gets the better of Dobey and Aspinall somehow manages to beat Littler, which I don't expect him to do, not on the form that we've seen both players in this evening, that would be the semi-final next week, wouldn't it? Humphries against Aspinall.
Yeah, I mean,
I wonder if you'd want to play a match like that close to it.
I don't know.
No, I'm not so sure, because they're playing for a ton of money, aren't they?
Yeah, £275,000 for the winner, 125 for the runner-up, and I think the semi-finalists get 85,000. So just by way of qualifying in the positions they have, they've guaranteed that kind of prize money, but it's all about the trophy when it goes to next week.
That semi-final match is worth 40 grand. And then the difference between the winner and the runner-up is £150,000. It's the biggest disparity I can think in terms of winner and runner-up, apart from the Worlds, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess it's not a
should be that way, shouldn't it?
Yeah, well, absolutely, yeah, and it's not actually a ranked tournament, is it?
No.
You're playing here for the prestige and the fact that the Premier League is such a one of those titles that everyone wants to get their hands on.
Yeah, they and you can, when the players, and it's discussed about what do they consider the majors. I don't consider this one a major. I just, because it's a promotional tour where they put together the 4 best players in the world and the 4 most popular players in the world, and it all boils down to one night next week. But in terms of prestige and having it on your resume, MVG is super proud of winning it 7 times. I mean, he lost in a fair few finals as well. But yeah, for me, it's the big ranking events of the majors. So that's always a conversation that stirs up some emotions, isn't it?
I was going to say, that's not one I really want to get involved in.
Well, you work for Sky most of the time, so you think only the ones on Sky are majors.
Well, yeah, absolutely. No, it is one of those really, for me, I think anything that hasn't actually got ranked prize money really can't be designated as a major. But as you say, depending on how you classify it, it's still one that everyone wants.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. It's right up there in terms of prestige and of course the financials, because you're on TV every week. That generates more sponsorship, generates more attraction in you in terms of personal appearances and exhibitions and advertisements. It's a huge PDC roadshow that allows everybody within a certain distance to experience what a Premier League night is like, and it is. I've been as a fan a few times, and it is an incredible night. And although I'd like to see it tweaked, it is nice for the crowd to see a winner every week, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think there's a perfect formula which balances what it does when you're there in person to what actually happens when it's on TV, and I think this is probably the closest it's been to, for the reasons that you've said there. You go along, you get the walk-ons, you get to support your favourite. You actually, instead of turning up and just watching individuals play, you're finding that you're getting more of that, almost like that football culture where you actually have a team to support. You're having a player to support throughout the evening. And it's just making it, the atmosphere. I've been to a few this year. It's amazing. It
is amazing. It is fabulous. I mean, the European tours as well. There, if you ever get an opportunity to attend one of those, that is just literally like one 3-day party. It is crazy, but great fun, great atmospheres as well. And I think the atmosphere the last couple of weeks in the Premier League has been so much better. There's been so much more sensible support rather than the booing and the whistling, which is fabulous to see. And look at the evidence. The players are producing the really big numbers and big performances. Last couple of weeks we've had multiple averages over 110, haven't we? We've had a 9-darter. It's been fabulous and great to watch, and that's what sport should be.
Yeah, I started off, I was in Glasgow for week 2, and I know that there were some whistles, and we got that kind of negative crowd interaction, and it only takes 2 or 3 people, because it's that lone whistle when you're going for a double that really stands out. But then finished off last week in Aberdeen, and for me that is probably up there with one of the best Premier League nights that I've ever been to. The crowd were fab, but the performances of the players as well, everything just came together.
It all clicked, didn't it, last week? And It is. I mean, I think all the best averages have been done at Aberdeen, haven't they? It seems to get the players right up for it for whatever reason, but maybe it's just the type of support they get there. But we're not too long away from our first semi-final, and well, Aspinall's record of late against Luke won't give him a lot of encouragement going into this game. Well, I suppose you can say that for pretty much everybody's record against Littler at the moment, but especially Aspinall at the moment. Out of the same stable, of course, know each other very well. Just looking at it.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome back to the action.
Oh, thanks, Laura. See, that's why you're the best. 13-1 the head-to-head, and the last time he won was the third time they met.
Sheffield semi-final. Time to walk on back.
12 on the spin.
I think it's 11.
11 on the spin. Yeah. I knew there was a reason why I didn't think he was going to win.
Yeah, so you're listening to Premier League Darts live on talkSPORT 2 in partnership with Village Hotels. With 33 locations across the UK, visit villagehotels.com. And you would have just heard in the background John McDonald introducing Nathan Aspinall, who is strutting his stuff up to that stage.
And we can vouch for the Village Hotels, can't we, Laura? We love staying at the match place.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I like the location of that one. Hear the zoo in the background.
Yeah. Golf course, swimming pool, gym. Well, he looks motivated, which is good, because it's going to be hard for him, knowing that, well, and you could tell he put absolutely everything into that Michael van Gerwen performance to get over the line 6-4. But we know what we're going to get. It's what's written on the tin with Aspinall, and he will go up there and give it absolutely everything. But of late, it's not been enough against Littler.
No, it really hasn't. As you say, you mentioned the head-to-head record, but he knows now he's going to avoid Luke Littler when he goes to the O2 in that first semi-final. Yes, he's going to have to face Luke Humphries, but I mean, the scenes here, he's just enjoying himself now. But don't let that, don't let that fool anyone, because he's going to want to lay down a bit of a marker here tonight. He won last week. He's going to want to do the same.
Back-to-back wins is a rarity in the Premier League, especially this year.
I think the only other one that's done that this year is just about to walk on the stage.
Different look about him tonight, isn't there? Normally he's caught sort of quite smiley and a bit cheeky. Tonight he seems like someone's annoyed him.
Kind of menacing was what I was thinking.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually find out of all the players, Luke Littler is one of the hardest ones to actually read in terms of body language, because how he looks isn't necessarily what translates up on the offie.
No, that's right. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde type thing, isn't it? And a bit of a laugh with John McDonald. Hugh Ware will be our referee. Even Nathan Aspinall's getting involved with the tune. I know what it was like when I had a similar record early on to that of Phil Taylor, and it was a bit like waiting to go to the electric chair when I played him. You just knew what was coming, you just didn't know how fast.
It's that sense of impending doom when
it is, exactly it. It was. Oh, here we go again. It just depended whether it was going to be a 100 average, 105 average, or 110 average. You just never knew.
There's always this wonderful idea of a tournament, a bit like last man standing, isn't there, where you kind of get 20 players or so, lock them all in separate rooms, put one person up and then draw them out, and the only time you know is when you hear the tune.
Yeah, the snap. There really isn't a seat to be had in that Sheffield Arena. It's absolutely rammed. Just getting confirmation of positions. Littler at top, Humphries second, Aspinall third, Gerwyn Price fourth. So how it works is 1 plays 4 and 2 plays 3. That's next week at the O2 and live, of course, on talkSPORT and our talkSPORT YouTube channel. Make sure you do subscribe to that, because there's lots of content being added all the time. And it will be Luke with the darts. Last week he's had averages of over 115 and 114. What is he going to produce in this one?
That is the question, because there is that one small thing that I'd say with Luke Littler, that every so often he has just that tendency to switch off a little bit. Everyone knows now exactly what to normally expect, so when he lets people in, I think last week it was Dobey in the semi-final, just switched off at the wrong time, ended up losing 6-5.
Yeah, he averaged 101.44, but you're right, every now and again he can just sort of, and it's just concentration, and that's something that will improve frighteningly. And when that improves, you're probably going to be like Michael and Phil, isn't it? It's just unplayable. 140 takes him down to a finish of 164. Aspinall 341. He's found the treble 20 and follows. Ooh. And Max for the Asp.
Yeah, Max takes him down to 161, and Littler can't find the first treble. Does find it on second dart and backs it up with a third. 140 leaves him 24. If he gets a chance to come back, Aspinall on 161.
He's going to come back. Aspinall on the top wire of the treble and not in it. Finds the ball with dart 3 to leave 71. All in vain. 13 dart hold for Luke Littler.
So carrying on where he left off, he was 6 from 6 on the doubles in that first match, where he beat Stephen Bunting 6-1. 95 for Nathan on throw. Only 70 for Luke. The crowd are absolutely glued to this one. Cover, Aspinall down to 310. I like that thinking, because any combination of 140, 180 leaves him a finish. It was interesting. I was listening to Stephen Bunting talk about it, and I think him, like most players, they're thinking about it after their first start.
Yeah. The one that really brought it to prominence is Luke Littler. When I was covering all of his stuff down at Modus, I soon recognised really quickly that after 6 he leaves something that can be completed in 6, and he constantly makes sure he's doing that, and that can happen, like you say, on dart 1, where the traditional switch may be down on dart 2 to the 19s. He doesn't think that way. He thinks differently.
Yeah, I think he'll be leading the way in terms of the approach that players do start to take towards the math side of things. Board management become more and more important.
Absolutely. Ball management is key. How many times do we see games lost where people just make mathematical errors? Nothing wrong with that from Aspinall. He leaves double 6. Littler wants 131. Shot's not on. Not quite at the heights he was just a matter of hours ago.
Yeah, and I think that's how it's going to go. We've got that weight of expectation every time he steps up to the oche. It is Aspinall that pins 12 in 1 dart, 1 apiece.
Yeah, 2 hold to throw. Leg 3 is usually where we start to see Littler go through the gears. He's comfortable enough and he's got his eye in. Not particularly a heavy practicer, is he? He's again open and honest, and says He just uses the games as practice. Makes you sick.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. I'll just go out there, my practice match, 1-1-4, 6-1 win, you know, absolutely no problem.
Back-to-back 140s in leg 3, down to 2-2-1. Just looking over some of their previous 6-4s, a couple of 6-5s, 6-3, 6-2. Met in the World Championship, of course, in the quarterfinals this year. It's a 5-2 win for Littler. There's not been too many heavy defeats. There's been no to nils. But 90 for Littler. Single 8 leaves 82. Treble 14 misses. 68 left. Treble 16 misses. Aspinall 170 needed for an early break of throw. This had well, the roof had come off the gaff.
I think it would. He's just taking his time adjusting. Nathan Aspinall, but I think just overthought and reacting to the crowd who are booing because he's pulled it into the big 5. Adjust well. Treble 19 found.
108 left. 54 leaves 54. 52 for Littler. Single 12 tops. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. So everything going the throw so far, Laura.
Yeah, and I'm not going to jinx anything, I'm sure, because it just cannot keep going on. But can Luke Littler go through, win one of these evenings by not missing a double? Because he's 8 legs and he hasn't missed one yet.
No, is it 9 doubles in 8 legs?
Yeah, of course, starting off with that double-double combination finish against Bunting.
Yeah, the 96 out, wasn't it? 20, double 19, double 19.
58. I just wonder how important it is for Nathan Aspinall, because he has been criticised when he's played against Luke Littler that he's been a bit too friendly, a bit too casual, enjoying himself. You're not seeing that from him right now.
No, absolutely not. And it's definitely a difference, isn't it? There's, like I say, there's no real niceties there. There was the handshake at the start of the match, and they both got on stage, and since then there's been zero interaction between either of them. They're just getting on with what they're meant to be getting on with.
Yeah, I wonder how much it kind of played into everyone, really, where Luke Littler, when he came on the scene, obviously, you know, he talked about this 16-year-old, 17-year-old lad, that people were taking him under his wing, and now he's, you know, 18, that grand old age of 18. But I think it's the performance level.
Yeah.
You have to focus, you have to concentrate. You know, you're in a competition before it's even started.
Yeah, they've gone from putting an arm around him to trying to push him off the stage now. Pesky kid.
140 there from Aspinall, leaves him on 46. This is Littler with 107 though for a break. Single 19. He went for treble 16, wasn't far away, but chance here for Aspinall to make it 2-all.
Well, it doesn't feel like this type of game, but Aspinall's averaging 100, 101 for Luke Littler. And we're yet to see a dart missed at a double. And I've jinxed that. Well done.
A double 8 required, and just on the inside, and a thumbs up, a sarcastic thumbs up from Aspinall, because Littler now needs tops for the break, and that is 3 from 3 in this match for Luke Littler. He leaves 3 legs to 1.
Statistically, 9 from 9.
Yeah, unbelievable. Absolute masterclass when it comes to finishing.
I wonder if he's aware. I wonder if he knows. He sort of... So I wouldn't know what it feels like. Gone like 3 from 3, that's about it.
Well, Stephen Bunting definitely made sure he knew he was 6 from 6 after that first match, because it's the first thing that he said. I think Luke's the kind of player that would know.
I think he tracks his stats, doesn't he? I think he's one of these players that sort of looks at them and thinks, right, what did I do here? What did I do there? How can I improve?
I think you might find that, you know, that's something that may need to happen, whether it's the player that does it or someone that does it for the player, because now the margins for improvement are so narrow, they're so fine, that you have to kind of look at the small things that you can tweak.
Yeah, like a tiny percent here, there, in every element, and then that adds up to a big jump in performance level.
Littler 3-1 up and looking at 170 here to make it 4-1. Goes high with the first, low with the second, 40 scored, so has to settle for 60 points.
Yeah, fortunately for him, Aspinall back on 250, and he's not going to put too much of a hole in that. He's at a big 1. Comes for cover with no success, single 19, back upstairs, does find a treble 20, does leave 170, 110, starts on 19s, 57 leaves 53, 13 leaves tops. I don't even need to tell you what happened, he hit the double, of course, that's what he does.
Yeah, unbelievable, and a little kind of raise of the eyebrows and almost like an exasperated puff from Luke Littler in the back.
Yeah, as if that was not very good.
Peas,
yeah. Bit of resistance as expected from Aspinall. Maybe that would inspire Littler just to follow, but a very good ton all the same.
Aspinall 3-2-1, Littler 4-0-1, and first dart really high from Nathan Aspinall.
Yeah, it's a frown from Nathan as if to say, well, what was that?
Yeah, I still go back, to the players when they get that first 180, that carrot of those 30 grand darts. I do think it's playing on the back of their minds.
Well, I think they all want to set, don't they? That's the thing. They've seen the other players get them, and dart players are like, well, if you had a 10-foot fishing rod, they want an 11-foot fishing rod.
I guess he's got 2. Maybe he'll share one.
Yeah, maybe not a chance. I bet one's in the chippy and the other one's in his man cave. It's the best games room I've ever seen. Imagine having your own chippy in your own games room.
Yeah.
I mean, all I need is my own vineyard.
Yeah, that would just be the tip of the iceberg, but yeah, not to be for us, I'm afraid,
No.
Chris.
So, Aspinall for another leg, 162. Littler back on 121. Single 10, 52 left. Single 20 leaves double 16. He looks uninterested.
He looks frustrated as well. Littler 1-2-1 here to pull away to within 1. Single 20. Treble 17 found ball, and it is a miss. It's a 25, narrow miss, but it's happened.
He knew because he's smiling. He is human. That's at least we know that. Didn't think he was a robot tonight. Oh dear. And he's having to move all the way left. He's put one way outside, one inside the 16. Well, what a dart that is! Dart of the night. How he's found double 8, even a smile and a wink from Luke Littler. 4-2. It's Littler with control. He has the darts here to make it 5-2. Starts with a ton.
Yeah, that double 8 there from Nathan Aspinall. He wasn't even up to the ocky. He'd had to move so far to the left. As you say, great dart.
Yeah, navigate around the other ones that were all skew-if. Apologies if that's blown your eardrums out. There was someone in the crowd who had a head like a banana. I think it was a banana, wasn't it?
Banana or a chicken, I don't know.
Yes.
I was shocked at the scenes.
I think the cameraman was. My goodness.
96.
But it's all fun and frolics to the crowd here in Sheffield. Just feels going through a bit of a sticky patch, the players though, on the stage.
Yeah, it's just gone off the boil a little bit.
I blame that one missed dart from
Yes.
Littler. That's what it was.
Well, it was just at 29 to the 3-1-5. Aspinall around that number that you want to see after 6, 3-10. That's if not hit 180s, of course, or anything like that. But only 83, so down to 227. Littler's got to be a bit careful here. Well, his first start was going at the ball. He was trying to hit 145 to lead 170. Well, he hit the 2 treble 20s, but incredibly didn't even hit the 25 and going for the ball.
Littler 178, Aspinall 227 minus these, and he's found 134. Will be on 93 when he returns.
Yeah, this game is just starting to get a little bit more interesting.
58.
It's taken Littler to just go off the boil slightly, but Aspinall 93 to break the Littler throw. And he's found the treble 19. Double 18 for 4-3. No drama at all.
No, and actually a smile on the face of Nathan Aspinall as he pulls it back to within one. It was a clean finish as well from Nathan Aspinall, but just feels like the players are just kind of swimming through a bit of treacle at the moment in terms of performance levels.
Yeah, they're both averaging around 94. It's almost like it's sort of gone to a bit of friendly sparring. But it is Aspinall starting this leg first. If he holds, it'll be 4-4, and it's 2 treble 20s. I don't even know, that wasn't a max. Looked like it was all day long in there. Just seemed to just skew up at the last second.
And uncharacteristically for Luke Littler, not 180 in sight in this match. We are in leg number 8, and you mentioned it earlier. I think there was a week where he'd hit something like 20, 22
yeah,
180s
in a night. Yeah, that's 180, and we're into leg 8. 310 Littler, 261 Aspinall. Oh, great dart. Comes for cover on the 17s correctly, goes back up. 131 leaves 130. Beautiful approach play from Aspinall.
Yeah, Littler back on 310, and he'll be looking for a 140 minimum. He's got 80, needs another treble 20, finds it. That leaves him on 170, but Aspinall a real chance here to level up at 4-all.
Big fish. These little fish. Aspinall wants 1 treble 20. He's got a single, needs the treble, gets it, needs the ball. Oh,
yeah, they just mouthed the word wow, because you're right, that was nowhere near.
Yeah, if he's playing cricket, he'd have been tapping his knee. Oh, the shot was on. He couldn't find the second treble 20, didn't find the ball anyway. Down to 65. Aspinall, 16 for double 16 for 4-4.
Just readjusting his grip. 16 found, so double 16 for parity. Double 16 is found. It is 4-all. Nathan Aspinall on a bit of a charge, coming back here at Luke Littler.
Yeah, this is where Littler hits the afterburners, though, just when you think, oh, I've got a chance. Well, there's that 180 we were waiting for, Laura.
A little sarcastic raise of the arms, and it goes back to what we're saying. I think he's more than aware that, you know, he hasn't been hitting them.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. This will be typical of him, having studied and watched and commentated on him. He can just sort of plod along and then go, all right, hang on a minute, it's 4-all. I better start playing here, and crashes in a 180.
Could only back it up with 60. There were 3 very well thrown darts, by the way, but 261 plays 419, but it's 2 treble 20s for Aspinall. Wants to settle for a 140 in the end, but keeps him well in touch with Littler. And Littler now going down the bottom again, just trying to make sure he leaves a finish. 91. He'll be back for 170 once again.
Yep, played the right play. 279 Aspinall, so he has to be a little bit careful. He's found 1 treble 19. He should stay there. Well, he can stay there. He can go treble 20 or treble 17, which he didn't hit. So 170 for Littler. Doesn't find the treble 20. His first start's just not on point tonight, is it? He's at his best. Well, not I say tonight in this particular match, because earlier he was ridiculous. He's only down to 128. Aspinall here with if he can find a couple of big troubles. He found 1. 75 scored so far. 135 takes him down to 51. This would potentially could be a breaker throw and a 5-4 lead. Oh, Littler's found the treble 18.
And he's found it again. Double 10, his favourites, and just wouldn't you know it, there's a shake of the head, but a smile from Aspinall to say, really, did you have to do that then? But yeah, brilliant once again. The 128 and the 110, 2 ton plus checkouts for Littler in the match.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, I'm thinking, 135, leaves 51. He's not going to take the 128 out. So you go from being in a position of thinking about leading 5-4 and throwing for the game to being, oh, well, that's it then. I'm 5-4 down, and now I've got to hold, or I'm out.
Aspinall back at the hockey. 1-2-5 to kick off what could be the last leg, but he's hoping is the penultimate. But here comes Littler. 180, you could have got it on a pinhead.
Right, he goes from not hitting 1 in the whole match to being at 4 all and looking like he's in a world of trouble. He started leg 9 with a max, and he started leg 10 with a max.
Not only did he start the last leg with a max, he finished it off with what felt like an unlikely 1-2-8 as well.
Yeah.
It's sensational stuff again, and he's back in, and again. Back-to-back 180s from Luke Littler.
Nathan's looking at his friends and family, and he's just shaking his head, laughing. But he's got 277. He thinks it's hilarious. Deep down, he's absolutely spewing, but there you go.
Nathan would have gone from the point of thinking he's back in the match to Littler then just turning it on. 1-4-1 required for a 9. And you'll hear the crowd in the background disappointed. It's a big 5 found with that first start.
Even Nathan Aspinall was cheering him on. He's just looked at the crowd. Just sit back down. I'm saving it for the final.
He did get one at the final last year, didn't he?
Yes. 121 from Aspinall down to 98. 91 Littler. Single 17 leaves 74. Doesn't get the treble 18 for double 10, but leaves tops. So now he has to wait and see if Aspinall can take out 98 to keep this match alive.
Yeah, Nathan just taking his time, making sure everything is right. First one low, single 20 found, 78 left. Oh, it looks like he may be going down the board for a double, pulls it low.
And then throws the last one away. So Aspinall is not going to get a chance to make the final as he steps in, climbs tops in 1, and is safely through to the final. It was a game that promised much, then sort of went off the boil, and then 4 all, Laura. Littler decided, well, I better turn up now then.
Yeah, didn't have a 180 in sight from Luke Littler after that point, and then goes on to go 180, threatens the 1-4-1 for another 9, but wasn't to be. But for Luke Littler, it's another final, Chris. It has been another good evening so far for him.
Yeah, and job done for Nathan Aspinall. He knew he just had to turn up, try and get a win over MVG, and he was safely through to the finals at the O2 next Thursday. You will be as well. Well, one more semi-final to bring you, and that will be Luke Humphries facing Chris Dobey.
When it comes to the Darts Premier League, the last thing you want is an online mishap throwing you off your game. That's where NordVPN Threat Protection Pro steps up to the hockey. Think of it as your personal referee, keeping dodgy websites, malware and phishing scams from sneaking into your setup. It even blocks those pesky ads so you won't get distracted mid-leg. Go to nordvpn.com/dartsvpn and get 2 years plus 4 months free and a birthday deal. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee.